When did you watch this film most recently?
Um, I watched it on last Friday, so
Yeah, I'm
almost a
about the
week
same.
ago. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I'm
yeah,
about the same because I didn't really want to rewatch it, to
yeah,
be perfectly straight up and honest.
yeah.
Yeah. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Mm.
Okay. So the film, yeah, we're into we're into the iceberg. We're definitely into the iceberg.
Yeah.
Felt it with this film. This is Salo or the 120 Days of Sodom, Dorian.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, this is directed by Piero Pasolini. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, this fortunately, I'll say, was a anomaly in his
Mm.
movie career. Yeah,
Yeah.
whether or not, yeah, it's a good addition. It's hey, I've gone a brave new direction. Anyway, I'm kind of heavily hinting about how I feel about it already. How do you feel about it, Dorian,
Oh,
in general?
I it's boring.
Hmm. Okay.
It's boring. I don't
Expand
know if
on
it's just
boring.
like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel that with how much it gets talked about and the categories, like the other types of films it gets lumped into and all that kind of thing, you
Hmm.
kind of expect more from it than what it is. And then also, I don't know if it's just like because it's an Italian movie. I don't know if it's just a case of the translation for the subtitles isn't great, and there might be some stuff just lost in the translation, but um yeah, the dialogue is just comes across really clunky and awkward. And, it's certain
Sure.
stuff where, they're describing certain things. I'm just like, yeah, but the way that you're talking about it is not eliciting any kind of emotional response from me. Like, I'm just, if anything, I'm just laughing. Like, is that really how you want to talk about that? Like, that's ridiculous. Like I could describe something like that far more graphically. Like, what do you? So I don't
Hmm.
know if that's something
Hmm.
that's just like a translation issue or I don't know.
Translation issue. Translation's the interesting and
Mm,
operable word there,
mm,
because this is, of course, based on, if you didn't know, 120 Days of Sodom by the Marquis de Sade.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the initial inspiration source text. Um, we've talked about Marquis de Sade, I
yeah,
think, on here
yeah,
before.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you think? Yeah. Okay, I'll go through. Sorry. I'm just thinking. I'll go through what this movie's about, then we'll
Mm,
discuss further. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
we need to really set the scene for this. Salo with 120 Days of Sodom, by Pasolini. It's commonly referred to simply as Salo, as a 1975 political art horror. That's quite a good way to put it. That is
yeah,
quite a good way to
yeah.
put it, political art horror. Directed and co-written by Pasolini. So who else wrote it? I actually don't know. The film is a loose adaptation of the 1785 novel, first published in 1904, The 120 Days of Sodom by Marquis de Sade. Have you ever read the book? Sorry if I've asked you
No,
before. Okay.
no, I haven't.
Yeah. It's a list. It's a list of various stages, which is kind of
Mm,
translated in a different way
yeah,
into
mm,
this. There's
yeah,
not a narrative set up to it to any real extent.
mm,
Okay. Now they updated the story. They set it in the World War II World War II era. It was Pasolini's final film released three weeks after his
mm,
murder.
yeah.
Yeah. Was it because of the film? The film focuses on four wealthy, corrupt Italian libertines. This may need a little bit, you know, a libertine,
Yeah.
yeah? But we'll just describe that because it is a particular term.
Mm.
A libertine is a person questioning and challenging most moral principles, such as responsibility or sexual restraints, and will often declare these traits as unnecessary or undesirable. A libertine is especially someone who ignores or even spurns accepted morals and forms of behavior observed by moral mainstream society. Yeah. Market Desire is the most classic
Yeah.
historical
Yeah.
example. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay, so yeah, so these guys they declare themselves as libertines. So I'm just looking to where I'm up to. Yeah. In the time of the fascist Republic of Salo, 1943 to 1945. The libertines kidnap 18 teenagers and subject them to 4 months of extreme violence, sadism, genital torture, and psychological torture, among other things. Yeah,
Mm.
it's just, among other things. The film explores themes of political corruption, consumerism, authoritarianism, nihilism, morality, capitalism, totalitarianism, sadism, sexuality, and fascism. Okay. Story is in four segments inspired by Dante's Divine Comedy. What isn't nowadays? What isn't?
Yeah.
The Anti-Inferno, the Circle of Manias, the Circle of Shit, my favorite, and the Circle of Blood. The film also contains frequent references to and several discussions of Friedrich Nietzsche's 1887 book on the genealogy of morality, Ezra Pound's poem The Cantos, and Marcel Proust's novel Sequence in Search of Lost Time. Okay. Before I go on, the question came to me. What do you think of what it's trying to say politically, morally, etc.? Is it effective? Does it succeed? Or is it lost in its
Um,
own edgy
yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
edge
It just
lord,
it
let's do shit thing? Yeah.
yeah, it I mean, I don't know the historical context, of like what was going on in that time period. And like, obviously that would inform a lot of the interpretation of the film. Um, but yeah, it just feels like, okay, yeah, you're just trying to create this like artsy, edgy thing, and it just doesn't hit the mark for me. Like these four like libertines, the way that they carry on, they just seem like edgelords.
Yeah.
Who think that they're really edgy, like, oh, look how interesting we are and how edgy we are and all that kind of thing. And then when you see what it is that they're doing, it's like, is that it?
Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Like, but again, I've seen so much fucked up stuff at this time, by this point, that
okay, so
seeing what
that's
it is that
playing a
they're doing
part. That's
there
playing a part. Okay.
is kind of
Okay.
like, oh, is
Yeah,
that
okay.
all? I've seen so much
Um,
worse stuff happen in other
mm,
things, so
mm.
this is nothing. So there is that.
Of course, as always. As
Mm,
always. But no, I get you. I get you. My my general thoughts history of this. When I first watched it, I kind of admired the craft of it. On the
mm,
second viewing for this,
mm,
I completely agree with what you were saying. That
mm.
was entirely
Yeah.
how I felt
Mm,
as well. It's like, no, you're not selling what you're trying to pull off
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the marquee, uh, I, it's clever how it's transposed. Yeah, the
Mm,
transpositions from France, Marquis de Sade to the end of the Second World War, the end of
yeah.
Mussolini's reign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not stupid, but there's no real care or consideration. It's smartly put together to transparently conceal.
Mm,
Basically, I get the feeling there just to have a sick good time. There is, I don't know, because there is reports of, like the kids being underage in this film
Mm,
and that sort of thing.
yeah.
And watching it, the vibe that you said boring, and why I asked to
Mm,
expand, there was this kind of dead tone to it, like we're
yeah.
forced, kind of with, do they want to be there, or is this kind
Mm,
of a miserable experience
yeah.
that I'm feeling
Yeah.
through the screen? Yeah, that makes
Yeah. And then
sense.
also just the performances from the actors as well. Like even
Mm,
even like the
mm,
four main guys who are the perpetrators of this,
hmm.
even some of the stuff that's happening, I'm like, okay, you could at least try to make it look as though you're enjoying what it is that you're doing right now. Like
Yeah,
there's
that
absolutely
whole
just
thing.
nothing going,
Yeah.
like the acting was just they
Yeah.
weren't selling it.
Is that a stylistic thing?
I don't
Italian
know.
cinema
I
at the
don't know.
time?
Yeah.
I've never watched, okay, full disclosure, I've never watched any of this guy's other films. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't either. Yeah.
Whatsoever. Yeah. Um, these sort of things, if I have to, but if I'm studying them and learning about them and that sort of thing,
Yeah.
these sort of directors a lot of the time, and
Mm,
some of them I do end up admiring. Fellini's made a couple of really
mm.
cool ones. I prefer to go to German expressionism if I'm,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that sort of thing if I'm going to go old.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, not to get sidetracked. And yeah, the second time around, it was just like, yeah, nah, okay, because yeah, John Waters, what are you up to? Yeah, I like you,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
you've got some dodgy outlooks on things. If this is your
Mm,
favorite film,
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, but and saying that, no, it's boring and it's an edgelord thing, and it's not really well put together. There's no real
Yeah.
craft to it either.
Mm,
Yeah, it's not effective, and the political stuff
yeah.
definitely doesn't work. Now, before we go into the plot, um, because I didn't really want to deep dive on this, to be perfectly honest, and it's getting no cool cover or anything. Again, just my opinion.
Mm,
Um, just going to where it talked about the concept, etc. Okay, because there's a lot of writing up on this. Shout out to the people in Wikipedia because it is very good. If you want more of a deep dive, that sort of thing, just go to the Wikipedia page. It's pretty much all you need to know about this is on there. Yeah, there's a lot of writing, which is cool. But there's some nice stuff I wanted to point out about the production, now the conception. So we're going to the plot, so we don't have to
mm,
labor over when we break it down. Pasolini's writing collaborator, Sergio Citti, Citti, had originally been attached to direct the intended adaptation of the Marquis de Sade's The 120 Days of Sodom. So that's what it was going to be
mm,
initially. Going to be a
yeah.
straight up adaptation. That would have been better.
Yeah.
Anyway, during the creation of the first drafts of the script, Pasolini appealed to several of his usual collaborators. Now, while collaborating with Chitti on the script, Pasolini was compelled to transpose the setting of Salo from 18th century France, as depicted in de Sade's original book, to the last days of Benito Mussolini's regime in the Republic of Salo in the spring of 1944. So hence you have, Salo 100, the 120 Days of Sodom.
Yeah.
Salò is toponymical metonymy for the Social Republic because Mussolini ruled from this northern town rather than from Rome. Yeah, it's based where he was doing bad shit at. That's what
Mm,
that means. Which was a puppet state of Nazi Germany. While writing the script, it was decided between Chitti and Pasolini that the latter would direct the project, as Chitti had planned to write a separate project after completing Salò. Pasolini noted his main contribution to Chitti's original screenplay as being its Dante-esque structure, which Pasolini felt had been de Sade's original intention with the source material. I disagree. But
yeah.
that's a whole other discussion. Yeah. In the film, almost no background is given on the tortured subjects. For the most part, they almost never speak. And they are snatched, they're pointed
Mm,
out as, orphans, etc.,
yeah.
strays, casualties of war. Uh, Pasolini's depiction of the victims in such a manner was intended to demonstrate the physical body as a commodity, the annulment of the personality of the other. Do you think that plays a
Mm.
part of the acting style that made it a choice?
Um,
I
I
said
don't know. But
possibly,
like that,
possibly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But like that as like a concept is very much a through line, throughout the whole
Hmm.
thing. Like it absolutely, like even from the very start, just in terms
Yeah,
of the way that
yeah.
they choose these, young, these teenagers and, the way that they're talking about them and all that kind of stuff, and then
Yeah.
how they treat them. Yeah, it's,
But the effect, there could have just been even
mm,
moments of effect because it did
mm,
become flatline, yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah.
needed to, yeah, go up and down,
Mm,
shade
yeah.
itself a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do
Yeah. There
agree.
wasn't really any like development in terms of like things sort of like ramping up and then easing off, ramping up, easing off until like a climax, like as in the final scenes of it, and then it just ends.
And it just ends.
Yeah. So,
The ending,
yeah, just
yeah.
the overall pacing of it doesn't really, there's no energy to it. There's no ebb and flow.
Yeah, ebb and flow's nice. Yeah, there is no ebb and
Mm,
flow. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. You don't feel for the characters either in that sense.
no,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
because you don't really get to spend all that much time with them. Like there is that one young girl whose mother was killed right in front of
Hmm.
her. There's
Hmm.
her, but that's about it. For everyone else,
That's
like you
about
don't
it.
know anything about them.
No. Yeah, the extreme moments are just there to emphasize the cycle that you're in. Yeah,
Yeah.
like with the shit scene, the start
Mm.
of all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure it's not a poop. It's rumored, of course, that's a big thing behind this
Mm.
movie that they're eating real
Yeah.
shit as well as underage kids. Um, I looked at it and I was like, nah, you've
Mm.
got a better eye
Yeah.
for that sort of thing. What do you reckon, Dorian? Was it real or not?
Uh, yeah, it was probably, I don't know, something else. Chocolate pudding.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
it all
But
looked very much
yeah.
the same
Yeah.
as well. I've seen
Yeah.
this film
Mm.
too many times and it's just twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the thing is with that scene, like as like
Mm,
repulsive as the concept is,
mm.
it's just too ridiculous. Like there's absolutely nothing about it that you can really take seriously beyond like that initial like, oh, that's what they're doing. Like after that, it's like, okay, we
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, yeah, we get it. Okay, so there is that through line, so we don't need to go through it anymore
Mm,
because it is throughout the movie, and we've made our point
yeah.
there. There's one little bit at the end that was interesting. Pasolini also described the film as being about the non-existence of history as it is seen from
Mm,
Western culture and Marxism. Um, and the kids are taken away. Yes, the kids are not a
mm,
part of history.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That is probably and yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, and this sort of stuff went on in concentration camps, etc., all
Mm,
the
yeah.
time. And
Yeah.
look at the Germans, what they got up to, etc.
Mm,
Yeah. So I thought that if anything was something that was effectively planted
mm,
into, yeah, the plot and the
yeah.
dynamic, etc. I'll give it that. Yeah, a whole bunch of paintings by a whole bunch of famous people, Deschamps, etc. Yeah, Pasolini also said that the four fascist libertines were written as highly educated characters and were to refer to them to themes brought up by, among others, Blanchot, Nietzsche, and Klosowski, if I have the. Yeah, correct there. And this, the trilogy of death. He was going to do the trilogy of death, which was a flip side of, I think it's called the trilogy of life. Yeah. And those are his
Mm,
three most famous films. Okay. You reckon that's enough?
yeah.
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 And it's on this iceberg and it's put up there,
Mm.
with one of the most infamous, yeah, fucked up films of all time. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So just scrolling to the circles. The film is separated into four segments, children, with intertitles inspired by Dante's Divine Comedy. Have you ever read the Divine Comedy, Dorian?
I have not. It's on my to
Yeah,
read list though.
yeah. yeah, for a while on mine, to be honest. But yes,
Mm,
it
yeah.
is. Okay, so we start off with Anti-Inferno. Okay, so just before. In
Mm.
1944, in the Republic of Salo, the fascists and Nazi. Hold on, let me just get some water. I'm going to stop and go through it. In 1944, in the Republic of Salo, the fascist and Nazi controlled portion of Italy, four wealthy men of power, the Duke, the Bishop, the Magistrate, and the President, my particular favorite, agreed to marry each other's
Oh,
daughter. Agreed to marry each other's daughters as the first step in a debauched ritual. Yeah, they're gathering up children
mm,
around this time in Salem
yeah.
as well. The war's pretty much done. Yeah, the Americans are
Mm.
coming. They ruled that when they get into the mansion, their daughters must be completely naked at all times. I'm just going off Wikipedia. Yeah, this isn't my
Yeah.
writing. So anything you
Mm.
want to bring up. They
Yeah.
recruit four teenage boys as collaborators, guards, which is very, yeah, German styles. They had the
Mm.
capos. They were called capos, etc. This
Yeah.
definitely did happen.
Mm.
Yeah, where they would get the Jewish prisoners to be thugs for them. In their uh, in the prison. Yeah, it's Italian. I'm not going to try. And four young men, black shirt soldiers. They're referencing the
Mm.
black shirts. Yeah,
Yeah.
called studs. They're called studs. I hate this, Dorian. It's just gross, perverted shit. Who it shows it
And not
because
even
of.
in a fun, entertaining way,
No,
just in a
it's
way that's just like,
not.
okay, yep, sure.
Yeah, and for points that aren't made. Yeah, if there's points made, yeah, sure,
Mm.
I can be forgiving,
Yeah.
absolutely, but there's
Yeah.
not. There's really not. Who are chosen because of their large penises, for fuck's sake. The SS and fascist secret police, OVRA, are sent out to round up young victims, of whom 9 teenage boys and 9 teenage girls are picked and brought to a palace near Marzabotto. One of the boys tries to escape on the way, but is shot dead. Yeah, so everyone gets the picture. Then we go into Circle of Manias. It sounds good. I know it sounds good. Yeah. Certainly if you're
Yeah.
into literature, and that sort of thing, because
Mm.
I kind of like the
Yeah.
Marquis de Sade. Yeah. If you're into this sort of thing, it sounds great.
Yeah.
But accompanying the libertines at the palace are the four middle-aged prostitutes. This is all how the
Yeah.
wording of the film. Yeah.
Mm.
Also, collaborators whose job it is to orchestrate debauched interludes for the men. They also are called storytellers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the
Because
film.
that's what they do. They're telling stories,
Yeah,
and their
yeah.
stories are so boring. They're not
Storytellers.
very good storytellers.
No, they're not. I was
Like
kind
even
of,
after being
yeah.
told, yeah, even after being told, like, hey, like I want you to like spare no detail, go into explicit detail about every single thing. And she's like, yeah, absolutely, I'll do that. And then she doesn't. No one does. It's just
It,
glossing over everything they're talking about. And then like, yeah, they're not very good storytellers. Like, I don't know what,
no.
because their whole point is that they're supposed to be there telling all this fucked up stuff, all this,
They
tales
lit.
from, them being, children and, being, molested or, having to,
Mm,
work, you know, doing sex work and all that kind of stuff as children. And, various stuff involving shit and piss and all that kind of thing. And it's in a way that's supposed to be titillating and and all that. And I'm just like, you're not even trying.
well, there is this
Again,
faux.
again, maybe that's a translation issue for the subtitles, though.
I
There
don't
is that.
know. I don't know because yeah, I mean they talk a lot. They do talk a lot. There's
Mm,
a lot of talking in this. And I'm usually fine with that, but my God, they're talking in this. And like even when she's forgiving of the admonition, the admonishment, sorry,
mm.
for not going into details.
Mm.
And so the apology takes forever, and it's in this faux
Yeah,
18th
yeah,
century French, come English, come
yeah.
Italian style. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
and so there is
They
that
all talk like that.
cringe. There's that cringe
It's very
factor to that.
pretentious.
They're
Yeah.
pretentious, yes, and all
Yeah.
and yeah, and the four libertines talk like this the whole way through. This whole
Oh God.
self-importance to it, yeah, which
Yeah, they
kind of
think they're top
have
shit and so
yeah,
edgy and
yeah, which kind of
nah.
overshadows everything. And yeah, and I get the feeling, I forget the details, so I won't go into them, but you get the feeling he had something to prove, hence our edgelord kind of
Mm.
feeling with
Yeah.
this, you know what I mean? And I think
Mm.
something happened to him beforehand. We got a critique on a movie, and this is almost, it feels like a middle finger. I'd have to go have a
Yeah.
look, but yeah, but I don't care enough. I don't care enough, children, about this, yeah,
Yeah.
to give it my more time. So yeah, you have to do your own research on this one, but that's fine. That's fine. You'll live. You'll live. Okay, okay. So manias. Yes. So the storytellers, also collaborators, which they very much are. Everyone's an abuser in this, whose job is to
Mm.
orchestrate debauched interludes for the men. They're literary fluffers. Yeah, to use an old school
Yeah.
porn term,
Yeah,
they are
pretty much.
literary
Yeah. Yeah.
fluffers who sadistically exploit their victims. During the many days at the palace, the four men devise increasingly abhorrent tortures and humiliations. This is all in a big tome, a book of rules as well. We can't forget about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is all for their own pleasure, of course. During breakfast, the daughters enter the dining hall naked to serve food. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, one of the studs, Officio, trips and rapes Liana, the
Yeah.
Duke's elder daughter. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, whatever. In front of the crowd who laugh. I don't, I never take rape lightly. It's just the
Mm.
blase way that this is treated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just, yeah. Who laugh at her cries of pain. This is the whole breakfast crowd. Yeah, the whole
Mm.
dinner hall, whatever you want to call it. Intrigued, the president moons several slaves. Yeah, he gets all excited like that. Yeah. What did you think of the president? We have to go
God.
there first. Yeah.
Like he looks like the most stereotypical sex pest.
Yeah. Keep talking a
And
little. Vamp a
he's
little. I'm going to
just,
bring him up.
yeah, I don't know. Like I can't stand him, but at the like I don't know. It just yeah, and him in this scene and then I don't know.
Yeah. It's going to show him. Is it going
I
to show
just
him?
I just don't really have much like constructive stuff to say because I just again this movie was just really boring for me and that was my thoughts on
Mhm.
it the first time I watched it was essentially like, oh, is that all this
They were playing on
is?
his look. They were playing on his look because his,
Yeah,
his
yeah,
cross-eyed or,
yeah, yeah. And then
um,
yeah, so then when I rewatched it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That's what this movie's like. Okay.
yeah, yeah. You said let's not waste time or any more time than we need to
Mm,
on this thing. All right, so yeah, he starts mooning people, gets all excited, yeah, and then he gets a physio to perform anal sex on him while the Duke sings
mm.
some
With
Italian song.
almost no actual reaction from him. Like you see, like there's a shot of his face while he's getting plowed from behind, and there's absolutely no change in facial expression.
No, there's not. No, there's
And
really not.
that just made me so annoyed, so
Yeah,
frustrated.
and
I'm
there's a
like, dude, you're supposed to
focus.
be enjoying this. Like this is
Yeah,
something that you're supposed to be like into, and
the whole movie with
it looks as though
oh,
it is all entirely fake, and like you are on a film set and
yeah.
filming something, and you aren't even trying to act.
And the director and the cinematographer are blamed for this as well. It's just
Mm,
focusing on the fact the guy's cross-eyed, all the extreme
yeah,
moments, and then close up, almost extreme close up on
mm,
the president and his
yeah.
cross-eyedness as well. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
whack.
He's like I
That's
said, he's a
tacky
very,
as
yeah,
well.
it's a very
Yeah,
stereotypical image of some kind of pervert.
yeah, yeah. It sucks. It sucks. Um, are they non-actors? Is that a thing to this movie as well?
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's a anyway. Yeah, there's an Italian song by one of the wankers has been sung.
Yeah.
Someone uses Senora blah blah uses a mannequin to demonstrate to the young men and women how to properly manually stimulate a penis, and one of the girls tries to escape, only to have her throat cut. We're not long into the movie.
No.
We're not long into the movie. Senora Vicari, I think that's correct, continues with her story. Two victims, and the story's terrible. It's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. All I'll say, it's her as a young child
Mm.
complying, even I think selling herself as a sex worker to the most
Mm.
perverted men, and I'm talking young,
Yeah.
young. That's all I'm saying.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so this is what she's conveying as what a lady should do in society.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. This is
Like the
also the
thing
kind
about
of
it, yeah, the thing
effects
about it
of it.
that would be, yeah, that would be disturbing in any way is not like all these sex acts themselves. It's more so
Mhm,
the
mhm,
cheerful
mhm.
expression on her face and
Yeah.
her, the way that she's
Yes.
talking about it so positively and so cheerfully. And isn't this, look at this amazing thing that happened to me. And
Yeah.
it's like, you were a child
And
and
that's
you were
part of
forced to
the
do that
yeah.
thing. And that's the mentality that you have about it. Like, that's the truly disturbing aspect of it, not the
Yeah.
act, not the actual sex act itself, which, something where consenting adults go for your life. I don't care. But like,
Mm-hmm. 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 And and that is an intentional
mm,
directing, thing
mm,
to do by the
yeah.
director, definitely.
Mm.
That's yeah. And I get it. Get it. Don't like it. That's all. Yeah. Yeah. Get it, just don't like it. Because it comes out effectively boring about horrible shit, and
Mm.
that's not cool.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And certainly when you're as edgelord tone to it. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, fuck that. Because edgelords suck. Okay. Yeah, Matt, what's happening? There's two. Yeah, they're forced to get married. Okay, we've got the two kids who are forced to get married.
Mm.
The ceremony is interrupted when the Duke fondles several victims and prostitutes. Yeah, remember this bit? The whole
Yeah.
wedding party. Just
He just,
and
yeah,
everyone,
interrupts it and just
everyone,
gropes everyone.
like
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah, and oh, there's one young boy I see who's gives him a loving smile and they actually snog.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm.
yeah, and you
Yeah.
don't know if this is actually a thing or he's just trying
Yeah.
to escape. He's playing a game to escape.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be
Yeah,
either. Yeah.
could be either. But that's all blurred by the end of this.
Mm.
Certainly the
Yeah.
ending. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, the guy with the beard's going nuts. At the end, Sergio and Renata are forced to fondle each other, and the men rape them to stop them from
Yeah.
having sex with each other. During this, the magistrate engages with the Duke in a three-way intercourse. You know what came to my mind there, Dorian? Iceberg
What?
children. Human centipede.
It always comes back to human
As
centipede.
always, all roads lead to the human centipede. That's one thing I've taken away from this whole journey. Okay, all right. So that's fucked. Okay. On another day, the victims are forced to get naked and necked by dogs.
Yeah.
When one of the victims, Lamberto, refuses, the
Mm.
magistrate whips him and tortures Susanna, the president's daughter. Are they going for each other's daughter? Is that a thing that
Yeah.
I never picked up? It seems to be, yeah. By
Yeah.
tricking her into eating a slice of polenta. So it's just an Italian dessert or whatever, I
Yeah.
believe. I forget what it
Mm.
is, but it contains nails, is the point, that you can't see at
Yeah.
first until it's in your mouth and you're chomping
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Yeah. He
Uh,
like there's just randomly like a box of nails scattered around on the table
mhm.
with all the amongst all the
Mm.
food. There just
I
happens to
spot
be that
I
there
spotted that
conveniently.
intentionally. Yes, yeah. Conveniently laid out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they're into exploring everything, which the
Mm.
Marquis de Sade was into exploring everything in his writing, not actually doing this in real life to people. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, that point's lost in this entirely. Okay, Circle of Shit, my favorite. This is not in a fun human centipede way. No.
No.
All right, so Senora Maggie this time around. We've got Maggie Dorian.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, is Maggie the one that they make to show, her butt because it's so fine? We have that.
Um, I think it might be her. I don't know.
I
They all
think it
look a
might be
lot. They
her.
all look very similar.
They do, they do. They all look like, back in the day, used to have this thing that you would have old Hollywood starlets,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
divas who
Mm.
would end up in these homes in Hollywood, yeah, together. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just a grotesque version of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Maggie relates her troubled childhood and her coprophilia. You
Mm.
know what coprophilia is? Don't look it up. As she tells her story, this is still YouTube. As she tells her story, the president notices that one of the studs, Ronaldo, has an erection and fondles him.
Mm.
Another stud, Guido, uses a victim's hand to masturbate. She also explains how she killed her mother over a dispute about her
Mm.
prostitution. Now, Renata cries. Renata's very young and crying about the death of the mother thrown into this situation. Totally
Yeah.
understandable. I did feel for Renata. Yeah, to throw out one character. Yeah,
Mm.
an actor
Yeah.
performance, if you will. Yeah. Remembering the murder of her own mother, the Duke, sexually excited at the sound of her cries, begins to verbally abuse her. This is the guy that be probably my most hate.
Mm.
I don't know. Him and the president. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
the other two don't really have
Really do
anywhere near
much.
as
No.
much of a role. It's
No, they don't.
primarily those two. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's acted well, I
Mm.
guess.
Yeah.
I've got the
Yeah.
feeling this is all Pasolini.
In terms of
Yeah,
acting, I prefer him to his acting
yeah,
compared to
okay.
the president.
Because I do get the feeling just going through this that the style of it, the tone of it, the way the deadpan don't respond, just take this
Mm.
because you're just a commodity.
Yeah.
It's entirely from Pasolini. Yeah, so they're
Mm.
taking this on board. Um, so I don't know what if this young actress just brought this to the
Mm.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, or this was a choice. It's definitely one of the better, more tolerable moments in terms of acting, because the next bit isn't. The Duke orders the guards and studs to undress her. During this, she begs God for death, and the Duke punishes her by defecating on the floor. And this is all drawn out. It's big wide shots. Yeah, yeah, you know
And
what I mean.
it like yeah, and then it cuts to him like squatting with his pants down, and there's this massive turd on the ground. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, they literally just placed it there, had him squat over it, and then
Oh,
started rolling.
it never happens like that. No. No, a large gentleman of his age. No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. So I say that's just chocolate. This is
Yeah.
chocolate. Yeah,
Yeah.
really done really well. Yeah,
Mm.
fooled people for decades, but we've got YouTube. We see all the shit all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids are out there making it all the time now. Okay. Yeah, so she's forced to eat it with a spoon. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Okay, the president leaves to masturbate. Yeah, and he's by himself. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so pathetic.
It is. Fuck this film. Later, at a mock wedding reception for the magistrate and
Mm,
Sergio, okay, the victims are presented with a meal of human feces. Yeah, and
mm,
there's big speeches and
yeah.
la di da. It's like we're at a
They got
French
this
court.
massive like they got this massive like dish. They pull the lid open and it's just all this just turds everywhere.
Mm. Oh, heaping pile because yeah, they're made to
Yeah.
keep all the
Yeah.
slaves
Mm,
are made to keep all of the defecation and
yeah.
bedpans. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And they had forced to eat it, and yeah,
Mm.
etc., etc. During a search for the victim with the most beautiful buttocks, as degrading, Francis is picked and promised instant death. Yeah. Franco. What did I just say?
Mm.
France. All of France. Franco, yeah, okay, is picked and promised instant death. This is quickly revealed to be a cruel form of psychological
Mm.
abuse by the bishop, who spares him on the promise of a far more painful death in the near future. That was kind of a chilling me because it was by
Mm.
a
Yeah,
gun.
I
It's
did
by a
like that
gun.
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right,
Mm.
isn't it? Yeah, no, that's not that easy. You think you're going to get out
Yeah.
that easy? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was chilling. That was chilling.
Mm.
Needed more of that. Yeah. See that, and that's more, heavier and more effective than it's a wedding party. Honk honk.
Yeah.
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 What is this? Benny Hill? Later, there is a black mass. Okay, we're up to Circle of Blood. Yeah, that's the shit done. Up to blood. Okay. We're coming to the end, thankfully. Later, there is a black, because this isn't long. Later, there is a black mass like wedding between the studs and the men of power, while the latter are dressed in drag.
Mm.
Wikipedia's wording.
Because they just have to be so transgressive and perversions and all that kind of stuff. And of
Yeah.
course, what are they going to do? They're going to dress as like middle-aged mother of the bride type outfits.
And there's a bishop type
Yeah,
character as well. Yeah. It's all
yeah.
attempt to be blasphemous and
Mm.
edgy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of edgelords trying to be so like, oh, look how weird we are and how we push the boundaries and
No. Yeah.
you're
No.
you're barely leaning against that boundary.
And we watch films on this iceberg and
Mm.
outside of it. Yeah. Far, yeah, more
Yes.
effective. This,
Mm.
yeah. Because, yeah, this, yeah, it's boring and it's gross. All right. Okay. What fuck shit are we up to? Okay. The wedding. The men angrily order the victims to laugh. That's right, but they're too grief
Oh
stricken
yeah.
to do so. The pianist and Senora
Mm.
Vacari tell dark jokes to make the victims laugh. Yeah, no. The wedding ceremony ensues with each man of power exchanging rings with the stud. After the wedding, the bishop consummates the marriage and receives intense and passionate anal sex from Guido. Okay, yeah. The
They
bishop then
fell off
leave.
the bed.
Yeah,
That's how intense it was. They just straight up rolled
yeah.
off the bed.
Guido's definitely playing the game, it seems, at
Mm.
this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bishop then leaves to examine the captives in the room where they start systematically
Mm.
betraying each
Yeah,
other.
I actually
Yeah,
did really like that because
yeah,
yeah, everyone just started
yeah,
just throwing everyone else under the bus to try to save their own hide. Just and then he like goes to the next person's like, "Oh, well, I'll tell you about this thing that this other person's doing if you don't hurt me." And then they go to them, "Well, I'll tell you about this."
yeah.
I did like that bit.
But that's real, you know.
Mm,
I mean, people
mm,
will do that.
yeah.
Contemporary equivalent we have their children is North Korea.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, people do this in extreme situations,
Yeah.
because it's with survival instinct. I get it. I get it. Would I do it? I don't know. I've never been
Yeah.
a circle of blood. All right, so yeah, there's the rape of the Guido. The bishop then leaves to examine the captives in their room. Betrayal. Claudio reveals that it's Griselda, yeah, not Griselia, whatever. Yeah, it's Griselda there. Wikipedia
Mm.
is hiding a photograph. Griselda reveals that Eva and Atanis, Antiniska, Atinsica. Do you have it there, Dorian?
Um,
Try not to ask, but it's just, yeah, that
yeah.
one. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
having yeah,
I
this
don't
is the
know.
Sapphic affair. This is the Sapphic affair.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Victor Umberto is appointed to replace Ezio, who is shot to death for having sex with one of the staff and revealing himself to be a communist.
Mm.
Got to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Towards
Yeah.
the end, the remaining victims are called out to determine which of them will be punished. Griselda is spared due to a betrayal of Eva. That's right. That's right.
Mm.
And Reno is spared due to his submissive relationship with the Duke. There you go. I get playing the game. Would I
Mm.
do it? I don't know. I have never been there. Those who are called are given a blue ribbon and sentenced to a painful death. So we've got Shirley Jackson's lottery in play. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. While those who have not been called, as long as they keep collaborating with the libertines, can hope to return home. The victims huddle together and cry and pray in the bathroom. Well, bathroom, what the fuck? They're in a
Mm.
tub. They're placed in a
Yeah.
tub you feed animals out of. They are then taken outside. Okay, this is where it gets real hardcore. And raped, tortured, and murdered through methods such as branding, hanging, and scalping, burning, and having their tongues and eyes cut out.
Yeah.
As each libertine takes his turn to watch in a pope-like throne,
Mm. Yeah. With the
as
little binoculars.
yeah, yeah, as a voyeur. That's the magistrate doing that.
Mm.
And again, the president, they're the ones who are shown in
Mm.
the thrones. Yeah.
Yeah.
The soldier, I believe the other two are out on the field. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doing the Lord's work. The soldiers shake hands and bid each other farewell. The pianist, looking out an open window, suddenly realizes with horror what atrocities are
Mm.
being committed and climbing out throws herself to her death. That was interesting. I didn't
Yeah.
expect
Mm.
that. I didn't
Yeah.
expect that. Two young soldiers. Now, this is the ending. All right, you ready for
Mm.
the
Yeah.
big climax? Yeah? All this horror, rape, torture,
Yeah.
coprophilia has led to two young soldiers, Bruno and Claudio, who had witnessed and collaborated in all of the atrocities, dance a simple waltz together. Yes?
Mm.
Claudio asks the name of Bruno's girlfriend back at home, to which he replies, Margarita. And
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the effing fuck? Okay.
Yeah, it's just so anticlimactic. It's a really unsatisfying ending. But I mean, you could argue that, yeah, like in terms of those kinds of atrocities committed during wartime, a lot of people had the privilege of being able to just return to their lives after having
Nice.
committed all
I
those
like
kinds of atrocities.
absolutely.
So,
On
and
this,
that's essentially, from what we can tell, what happens with all of these people,
hmm,
because we don't see
Operation.
what happens to them
No,
after, end credits.
no, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. On the
Mm.
second viewing, I saw that they'd been completely desensitized by the horror
Mm.
and had made their way into, surviving by becoming, part of, if you can't beat them,
Mm.
join them. And
Yeah.
that they're the new generation as well. And this,
Mm.
well, I just brought up my tattoo of the serpent eating its own tail
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
This will just circle. The circle
Mm.
will continue. The
Yeah.
cycle will continue. I read that into it, but again, we're
Mm.
giving this maybe more than this deserves as
Yeah.
well, because this could also be no, no, no. That you're not getting any satisfaction. This is just going to end in the most mundane way possible. Yeah, as the way the rest
Yeah.
of this film has been treated,
Mm.
that we've reacted quite, I think, quite, a cross between passion and disinterest, which is what this film
Mm.
evokes in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Dispassion and
Yeah.
no, yeah, it's not rage. Nah, it's just
And like
dispassion and
it's not the subject, yeah, it's not the subject matter that's the issue. It's the
bewilderment.
way, yeah, it
Bewilderment.
was the way that it was conveyed and the
Mm,
stylistic choices made
mm,
just
mm,
turned it into like something
mm.
that is a really good concept and
Yeah,
could be like a really interesting,
yeah.
far more engaging movie, and it was
Mhm.
just wasn't because it was just very like energy wise and tonally just very flat throughout.
Because if this had been well treated and sat down and properly written and
Mm,
mapped out, and and the heavier stuff done in more suggestive ways than just in your face
mm,
in a very bland way,
mm.
like placing it on the table for you to eat. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Again, I get it, but just don't like it.
mm,
You could have made some really good points at this point of time,
mm,
and you
yeah,
know, you seem to be competent. You're held up as one of
mm,
the classics. You have a trilogy that you're renowned for, so you can
mm,
put a story together, obviously, that goes over a
yeah,
trilogy. Yeah. Yeah, this just seemed like a chip on the shoulder. And
mm,
I don't know the behind the facts. So we're not here to be conspiracy theorists. We're
yeah,
not, we don't know
mm,
anything selling the palette for that. But the vibe of it's not cool.
yeah,
I will say that just from me. I just don't like the
mm,
vibe of this. You know what I mean? Is this intentionally a react deadpan like you are, human
mm,
commodities, or are these kids in shock? I'm just
yeah,
going to say that from me. Yeah. And yeah, and the second time it's just fucking boring edgelordship.
mm,
And I'm going to give it a two. It's
yeah,
flop
same.
corn. Yeah. It's not
Yeah,
one
two for
because
me.
there is skill, there is
Mm,
craft,
yeah,
there is, yeah. Don't want to, again, this isn't my personal feelings about what has
mm,
happened here. Just film wise, nah, it's
mm,
flop
yeah,
corn, Dorian. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Do you recommend it?
Uh, I would say that if you are watching like stuff that is the kinds of movies that this is typically lumped in with, and you want to check it off that list, then yes, but otherwise you can easily give it a miss.
Yeah, it's just if you're one of us, and
Yeah,
you got to see
yeah.
these films to
Yeah,
get your
yeah,
card, get your horror card, that sort of
yeah.
thing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, do it. You'll be all right. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's
Yeah,
just this is just more meh, rather than
yeah,
oh no, or a clutch of pills or anything. It's none of that.
mm,
It's just
yeah,
why, really, dude. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Let's get Fred Durst
It's
in
just,
here.
yeah, it's just more just
Yeah.
kind of exasperation and rolling your eyes
Yeah,
rather than
yeah,
anything else.
exactly, exactly. At the end of the day, I feel the same way. All said and
Mm,
done, it is just
yeah,
nah.
yeah.
Serbian film did it better. Yeah,
Well, I guess that's what we'll do next time. Serbian
boom.
film.
There's
There you
lovely.
go. Done.
There's your organic link. There's your organic. Yeah, what we're going to do next, there,
Yeah.
children. So if you haven't seen it, let's go look for it.
Mm,
Yeah, you'll
yeah.
find
I'm
it. You'll
looking
find
forward
it.
to revisiting that one to see if it holds up.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so am I. So am I. To see what my second
Mm,
viewing reaction will be
yeah.
like. Because of the first one, I will reveal that now, was
Mm,
like, holy fuck,
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I was really, really surprised by it. I was not expecting to
Yeah.
like it as much as I did.
But it was also like, I didn't know about the censorship stuff, but I
Mm,
got it. I
yeah.
got it just
Mm,
watching it. And by the end
yeah.
of it, and also it's like, oh, this is well shot, edited, put
Yeah.
together. And it's
Mm,
like, God damn, that's ooh, yeah, okay. I'm shocked.
Mm,
But this isn't a bad film. No,
yeah,
it's not a bad film. But yeah, we'll see in the second one. And yeah, but I'll be surprised if I feel that, yeah, I'm going to stick with
mm,
what we're saying about
yeah,
this one. I only if you are one of us do this film. Otherwise, nah.
yeah,
Nah, if you
yeah.
want, there's other and more extreme horror ones. Do your gateway ones first, which we've already gone over. Go back to the human centipedes if you haven't already.
Mm,
Yeah, the first
yeah. If
one,
you want to
and then
have some
if
stuff about, yeah, eating shit, just watch some Human Centipede instead of this.
yeah, first one. Then if you're cool, then do the second one. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, cool. I think that's a good place to leave it. Yeah,
yeah.
cool. Shout out everyone on the pod. Shout out Escape Matter. Shout out Evil Corp. Come check us out. Halloween stuff's happening. And follow us, yeah, into the fucked up at Evil Popcorn Pod. Thank you as always, Dorian, for your time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I look forward to a Serbian film.
Yeah.
Whoa.